Tell me if you're good. Lined up. Very good. Camera there. That's right. Thank you.
Okay, guys. You've heard my speech several times, but I'll just give a quick synopsis of who I am, where I'm from. I'm Andy Sullivan. I'm a union construction worker. This is my second time into delving into the game of politics. Last time, it was when Mr. Weiner originally stepped down from Congress for the sexting scandal. It was at that point where I was working hard and petitioned to get myself as the candidate for the Republicans. But what ended up happening, Bob Turner came in and he raised a great deal of money. Of course, they went with Bob Turner and he won. And that went great. But it was a great experience for me because I got a chance as a newcomer to look at the inner workings of how a campaign, this whole political infrastructure works. And it's very complicated, and it is absolutely geared for the incumbent. It is extremely difficult for a newbie to get into that line and win from an incumbent. Now, what they have is they have a campaign finance board set up whereby you can get a 6-to-1 ratio for money that you have raised within your district. And they consider that an opportunity for the newcomer to kind of have a level playing field. Because if he raises $100, it's times by 6. So now the contribution, $100 contribution turns into $700 contribution. But what ended up happening with the campaign finance board, like everything of a bureaucratic nature, it's used for both good and evil. And in some cases, you know, you can get into a lot of trouble if you don't know the ins and outs. Hey guys, welcome.
My brother and my nephew.
Welcome, guys. Welcome. I was just talking about where I am and politically how I got involved. But what ended up happening, I saw in New York City politics how pathetic it is. It has turned into the worst reality show, and we live it every single day. People say you can take a page out of the phone book and just rip it out. And those names on that paper will do a better job than who we have in today. And you know what? I'm beginning to believe it. And all we got to do is look at what's going on locally. All of the indictments, all of the malfeasance, these are people we trust. These are people that we count on to look out for our interests. And I don't believe they're being looked out for. Very recently, we had a man not far from here, a business owner in Williamsburg. His name was Colin Devlin. He made the front paper. You know why? Because he killed himself. He was a small business owner. He owned a couple of restaurants in Williamsburg, and he went to get a loan because the business was in trouble, not because he wasn't doing the volume, he was doing fine. It was all of the overregulation and the taxes that are killing him, and all of these alphabet agencies that they've created to bleed the small businessmen.
There's a crane that deal was having used.
Yeah, and you're going to hear about this all the time now. But what I feel needs to happen, we need to stop with all of the heavy-duty taxing and the regulation. Bloomberg did great things for people way at the top and for people down at the bottom. But for us in the middle, I think it's been awful, terrible. Because everything's been, all the burden of the city's woes and financial deficits have been laid at our feet. And this is where they drain us. Now, I'm fresh from the field. I'm not a politician. I'm a blue-collar construction guy. As a matter of fact, I'm a union guy. And I do support unions. But I don't support the way unions are set up right now. And I think it was a bad move that we allowed the DNC and the unions to develop this unholy marriage. And now, that's why I think unions have become such a taboo subject in any field of conservative circles. I think if we had union leadership with both a Democratic and a GOP perspective, you give the union worker a choice. at least we'd have some balance. I mean, if you look at the greatest union in the world is the United States. And we're a two-party system, and we work well as a two-party system. But anytime you have single-party rule, what ends up developing is a dictatorship, indentured servitude. And that's the way most union workers feel today. Because I don't know if you know this, but most rank and file union workers are 50 to 60% conservative. But they vote the other way because they always feel that the GOP is out to get their jobs and to cut their lifestyle. Now, these are one of the areas where I think the GOP has the opportunity to gain a huge voting block without compromising their values or their principles. Because we believe the same things. Very much like Latinos. I work with a lot of Latinos. They're hardworking guys. A lot of them are union guys, tax-paying, legal immigrants. But they feel like they're being let out of the conservative bloc. And I believe I can appeal to them because I work with them. The construction industry is the most ethnically diverse industry out there. And I feel, as councilman, I'll be able to reach these people. And I'll be able to, well, right now in my district, I have a very rare opportunity. I have an empty seat. There's going to be a four-way primary within the Democratic Party. And I believe I can do very well there.
But you're the only Republican running?
I'm the chosen candidate for the Republicans, Conservatives, and Independents. So my chances are real good. So right now is crunch time. There's two things we need. It's to get out the vote effort, and it is the ugly part of campaigning, money. So if anyone can help, I promise you I will take my conservative values and bring them to office, and I will stand by them. I've proven my integrity. You know, years ago when I was fighting the ground Zero Mosque, I was fighting Bloomberg and Obama. You know, and it just so happens, my bad luck, that I was doing a lot of work for Bloomberg. And my boss pulled me into the room and he told me, he said, either you stop waging this war, because I started the group, the 9/11 Hard Hats, and the whole basis of our group was the 9/11 Hard Hat Pledge. And the 9/11 Hard Hat Pledge was, we will not lift a finger to touch that building downtown at Ground Zero to build that mosque. And what ended up happening was, it just so happened, I got on Rush Limbaugh's show. And it was the very same day when I was at the Landmarks Commission, and they cleared this building for demolition. All 9 commissioners, all handpicked by Bloomberg. And this thing was on the docket for over 20 years for historic status, landmark status. But because Bloomberg wanted this building down, all 9 commissioners voted to knock the building down. Oh, yeah. And as I was driving home, devastated, I heard Rush Limbaugh on the radio, and I called in. Now there's 22 million people listen to this man. On my way home, I managed to get through. And I got on the phone with this guy. And when I explained to him what happened, it was amazing. You know, we got like over $200,000, 200,000 hits on the site, and joined in with the pledge. And that was the impetus to stopping what happened down there. All of a sudden, the money dried up. Many of the religious leaders suddenly disappeared. Nobody wanted to become in that focus point. But what ended up happening to me personally was pretty hurtful. You know, my boss gave me an ultimatum. He told me to stop doing what I was doing, or else I was getting blackballed from the industry.
And what an issue? The mosque is that issue?
Well, as of right now, it's a dead issue. But at any one point, you know, some rich sheik could throw a big pile of money in this guy's lap, and it could start again. So, yes, it's always alive. The money's there. But I'm here right now running for city council. I'm with my family. And they suffered because of the decision I made. And I just want to prove to you that I do have integrity. And I will stand by my word. Thank you for your time. Yes, I was Michael. I was the most in-demand guy in my field, and I couldn't get a job the following day. And that's been going on for the last three and a half years.
How far along are you in qualified for natural 61?
Actually, I switched districts, and I'm practically starting from scratch again. So
You're filed with
I'm all filed with the campaign finance board, yes. And right now, I've got about $17,000, $18,000 officially raised, but I need much more.
so you're qualified for the 61 funds also? 16 or something?
I still need my 75 in district, $10 or more to get that.
Just so you know, $10 contribution gets you everywhere. This guy, 10 to 175. Anybody want to get, right?
That is
And
correct.
if you're in district, it's even better.
Right. Even if 5 boroughs.
What's the
Yeah.
district encompass? What neighborhood?
It's parts of Bensonhurst, Brighton, Gravesend, and Coney Island.
And the current councilman right now?
It's an empty seat. It's Dominic Recchia is the councilman right now, but he's being term limited out. Okay?
Andy, on behalf of me, you're sick. I have to fill out a form.
Yes, you do. So, great. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Paul, thank you. Oh, Ron.
So, give me a form, I'll fill it out.
Thank
you so much, Andy.
Thank you, everybody.